Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squad for boxing news and views from around the internet. The IBF mandatory challenger Kubrat Pulev and his co-promoter Bob Arum are looking to take Anthony Joshua to a purse bid. So this could see the fight between the pair not land in the UK, which has been heavily signalled for Tottenham Hotspur Stadium June the 20th. So an exclusive story on World Boxing News. I'll get to the quotes, the statements from Bob Arum, and then a few thoughts, because I still think the UK is the most likeliest. I think this could be some hardball tactics, maybe squeeze a bit more money or something else, some other concessions, but we'll talk about it. So first things first, so you can see here on screen the headline: world exclusive, Anthony Joshua vs Kubrat Pulev not agreed for UK, will go to purse bid. And the backstory with this before we get into it: so Joshua given 30 days originally to negotiate with Pulev, his IBF mandatory challenger. The deadline comes and goes, extensions are granted, a couple of them. Now the IBF has tied and has given the pair until March the 3rd to negotiate a deal, otherwise a purse bid will be held. So the story says top-ranked promoter Bob Arum has informed WBM that there is now no agreement in place for Anthony Joshua vs Kubrat Pulev mandatory fight. The Hall of Famer spoke to WBN as mass hysteria grips the UK over a possible fight between Joshua and Tyson Fury. In a twist on developments, Arum disclosed that the Joshua vs Pulev initially eyed for June 20 in London is set to hit the IBF deadline. Anyone talking about Anthony Joshua fight with Tyson Fury is very premature, Arum exclusively told World Boxing News. Joshua has to fight Pulev, and we have a big problem with this site. For Pulev and Joshua, the British board are not being very cooperative. Pulev is now going to go to purse bid because he doesn't want to fight in the United Kingdom. And then it says, asked to elaborate on why, Arum stated, "We are just not going to do the fight in the UK because we don't get a level playing field." That's effectively the story in its entirety, going on to a few other bits and pieces. But this is a last-minute curveball from Arum and Kubrat Pulev. Kubrat Pulev just a few days ago put out a post saying, "Joshua, sign the contract, I've done my end." Also in recent weeks he put out a statement saying that there would be 20,000 Bulgarians in the Tottenham Stadium because they had negotiated for that sort of tickets to be set aside for packages and stuff for Bulgarians, be it in the UK or from Bulgaria itself or wherever in the world Bulgarians could access some tickets. So I guess on the face of it, it sounds bad. But is Arum just sort of playing sort of possum here? Is he sort of playing chicken with Eddie Hearn over some elements that they need to get over the line for Kubrat Pulev to fight in the UK? That is the likely sort of scenario that I'm thinking of, that it's more a case of trying to either squeeze out more money or more concessions. There's reference there to the British Boxing Board of Control being difficult, but about what? It's unclear, but obviously Bob Arum and Kubrat Pulev are saying it's not going to be a level playing field, so they want to take it to a purse bid. So with only days until March the 3rd, this is actually getting down to the wire here. So there could end up being some real pressure on Anthony Joshua, and more particular Eddie Hearn, to address whatever needs to be addressed for that fight to land in the UK. Because let's face it, and this is the second part, if they do force it to a purse bid, if they go, actually, we're going to do that, this could go anywhere. There was talk a month or so ago from the Pulev side that they would like to do it in Turkey because there'd been a site offer coming in. There's also offers from other places in the world that have been discussed, and Eddie Hearn has mentioned that people want to have Anthony Joshua fighting in their country. I said in a previous video, maybe a month or so ago, if there was any fight that you could travel around the world, this one here, it does make some sense. There's not necessarily the same demand in the UK for this fight. Kubrat Pulev is a good fighter, but it's not necessarily the fight that people want to see. So if it did go elsewhere, is it really a massive loss? I know a lot of people want to see Joshua go back to the UK because he's fought in New York and then obviously Saudi Arabia. But if it went elsewhere, well, so be it, sort of thing. That's the way I sort of looked at it. But Joshua clearly wants it to be back on home territory. They've worked out that it's going to be the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Eddie Hearn has sort of said the site deal is still to be done, but it's going to be on June the 20th. at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So those comments from Hearn sort of contradict at the same time what Arum is saying. Look, we're going to take you to a purse bid. You guys are being difficult, not a level playing field. The board isn't being cooperative. So this could get very messy very fast. And imagine if a purse bid is held. Offers, it's not just Matchroom and Top Rank that could come in with something. It could end up being anyone in the world could place an offer in, and it could end up going for tens of millions of dollars to get it somewhere. Matchroom could well lose it. How much would they really bid for this fight? But at the end of the day, it's a hardball tactic which Bob Arum, a veteran of the game, is trying to push onto Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, make them sweat, maybe give up something they don't want to give up in concessions or whatever. And with the failure to get this over the line in recent weeks, maybe this was always something that Arum and co were targeting, that, despite not maybe getting everything they wanted originally, they knew if they just keep pushing it out, the IBF is going to tire. It's going to set a deadline and have a purse bid. And, you run out of runway, well, you just take the fight wherever it ends up going. So there will be some pressure on Eddie Hearn now to respond to what's happening. But what do you make of this? Bob Arum, Kubrat Pulev playing some hardball, threatening to try get it taken elsewhere. Drop a comment, loud and often, hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.